expenses and accounts payable reports. Any comments or questions regarding those?
Chairman, I've moved that we approve as a block.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of approval of 4 reports, respond with the sign of aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. And that brings us to the public comment portion of the agenda. As a reminder, we do have several public hearings later. Any comments specific to the public hearings regarding our business professional occupational license ordinance, the American Rescue Plan Act, and conditional rezoning, please save those comments for that public hearing. Any other comments, welcome to come to my name and address. While we're waiting for anyone to come up, do we have any emailed comments? Thank you. No one on. And close that session and move into part of the agenda. But the first up is the VDOT monthly status report.
To highlight a couple of things from the month. Route 615 by our bridge engineers. That work is wrapping up. It should be completed by the end of the month. Other bridge project, Route 69. There's 2 bridges on that route. The first in mid-July. Second one is by the end of this month. The Route 640 Buckskin Creek, 2 codes expect to be complete by the end of the week. Our land use group continues to work with the field day of the past contacts to make sure that we have traffic plan. And we're all sure maintenance of traffic is in for that event. Other than that, I'd also highlight that our surface treatment operations have begun in Amelia and on various routes throughout the county continue into September. Other than that, are there any questions related?
Appreciate your efforts around Route 630 and 609 as well as 620.
Thank you for clearing Bill Road early that morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're busy then clearing trees from it. Thank you.
I've got Dr. Harper with the school. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Harvey. For the past month, we've been very busy preparing for the new school year, providing training for teachers and staff
interviews for CPA companies auditing the STEPS books, which is ended the EDA meeting, and this morning the Commonwealth Regional.
Thank you. 3?
Charlotte Courthouse, Heartland Board meeting, Sure Park, and they currently have a couple of projects that are currently closed at this time, trying to work out the soon to be. As I mentioned before, that it's for the industrial park in Charlotte County. Right down 360, you can see it. It's right there where the Tiger Cat dealer is. Massive amount of land side of 360. Benefit to us is just the fact of bringing in jobs. 5-minute hiring, more opportunity. And they got, I got it right. Years ago, they had to create a board of surrounding counties to get a grant to start that park. And that's why we are on it. We're not financially involved with it. Just of an executive. But they are doing good things, and I've been really amazed at how hard that Charlotte County is to build that park. Had a couple of ARPA meetings. Which in turn, we are still talking about internet. I know everybody hates to hear that, but we're planning to use that money the best we can to try to figure out our internet situation for everybody. Attended the workshop, and Mr. Easter and myself attended, along with Carla, a meeting with Commonwealth Connect. It's a state agency that they specialize in internet. I thought it was a great meeting the other morning. Very, very helpful, very enlightening. I think we got a lot of valuable information out of them. What Amelia can do for our next step situation.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, if you want to go ahead at 5, I'll wrap up then. If you want to go ahead, I'll do the last one.
Okay. Had a July 27th PSR board meeting, same meeting that that Roger attended. And then I had a meeting, in-person meeting, as a matter of fact, with the Education Committee of the Tobacco Commission in Roanoke, Virginia. That went very well. Had the CMPT Community Management Policy Team meeting, attended, and as a matter of fact, have one tomorrow morning. And then those were in addition to the board workshop meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Wyatt covered well the ARPA and broadband meetings that I was also in. I won't recap those. I used my time to point out 2 openings we do have on committees, and hope we'll have some citizens interested. We have a recent opening on the Social Services Board that is open for citizen in any district at large, so it does not have to be from a specific district. And we also have an upcoming opening on the Crossroads Board. As you recall, there's 2 members from Amelia, or 2 members from each of the 7 counties on the Crossroads Board. One is a member of the Board of Supervisors. I serve on that for Amelia, and one is a citizen member. So we're looking for the citizen member for the Crossroads Board, as well as for the local Amelia Social Services Board. And, anyone, please feel free to reach out to me or any of your Board of Supervisors members to express an interest or get more information in that. Moving along, we'll do our first public hearing of the evening, and this one is regarding the conditional rezoning. You're right, I'm sorry, I missed it. You're right. I just flipped the page too fast. Introduction of new employees, I apologize. Yes, introduction of new employees. Taylor, you covering that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We're supposed to have 3 here tonight. Looking at the mask, I'm not sure we have all 3 of them here, but we've got Debbie Rucheza. She's our permit tech. She's running our building department. She's answering the phones up front. She's the first person somebody who needs a permit will interact with, and we're awfully glad to have her. She came to us from Lowe's. Then we've got Wendell Miracle. I think everybody knows Wendell. He's over at Public Works now. See him moving every day, helping outside and inside. Awfully glad to have him. And of course, he's a retired Richmond PD. Glad to have him. The last one is Mary Beth Smith. Oh, there she is right there. Okay, Mary Beth came to us. And I'm glad that Dr. Harper has walked out because we poached her from the school board. She is our new HR employee director, and we're awfully glad to have her. This is her first week, and she's doing really, really well. So those are our new employees.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome all. Thank you. All right. Appreciate that, Holly. Now we'll do the first public hearing on the conditional rezoning. Holly, do you
Yes.
want to do some introductory comments for us?
Yes, so this request is for a conditional rezoning from RR3 Rural Residential to B1 Business for the purpose of opening an indoor and outdoor event venue. This property is located on Five Forks Road and it's currently used as a park. You all have probably passed it a million times, the Joshua Booker Memorial Park, that's the site. There's currently a vacant white building on the property, and the property is completely enclosed with a fence, and there's a gate right at the front. The property is located in the rural residential development area, and the comprehensive plan neither supports nor condemns this particular use. However, the focus of that area is largely residential. Assembly halls, which is what this use is considered in the ordinance, are permitted by right without a special exception permit in the majority of our zoning districts, just not in RR3. So B1 was their only option to rezone to because they don't meet the density requirements. They don't have enough acreage to do any of the other zoning districts. The applicants are proposing to install well and septic, construct restrooms, office space, storage space, a kitchen, pave the driveway, and provide parking for 150 vehicles. The zoning ordinance requires 1 parking space per 100 square feet of floor area for this type of use. Also in the packet, you'll see that the applicant is voluntarily proffering that no event will start before 8 a.m. and all events will end by midnight. A fence will surround the perimeter of the property. There will be designated on-site parking to prevent street or unauthorized parking. A member of management will be on the premises for all of the events. All clients will be required to sign a contract detailing the rules and regulations. Planned enhancements will beautify the neighborhood and increase property values. And the venue will be used for weddings, receptions, church functions, reunions, birthday, and anniversary celebrations. And this went to the July Planning Commission meeting, and the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this. And we did not have anyone from the public call, email, or speak out against it. So that's all I have, but as you can see, Mr. Booker is here and his business partner, Ms. Watkins. So if you have any questions, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer as well.
Do you have anything you want to offer? I don't see any questions, but do you have anything you want to proactively?
Basically just keeping our father's, what he worked for all of his life alive with keeping with the book, making it more. With your approval, be able to move forward.
If the business were to cease, is the rezoning, this is a permanent rezoning, though. It would continue to remain
Correct.
B1 regardless.
Correct. With the proffers, yes.
With the profit.
Proffers continue.
Yes,
Okay.
they would run with the rezoning. And they have proffered that it would be used as for this very specific use.
That was what I thought. Just to clarify it. Anyone on the board have any questions before we open to public hearing? y'all just want to hang out for a second in case there's any other questions. We'll open the floor to citizens' comments for the public hearing. While we see if we have any, were there any email anyone?
A couple of them in the audience. Accurate with that.
Good, thank you. Don't see anyone coming forward. Based on that, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any other final comments or questions, or do we have a motion from the board?
I move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor, respond sign of aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion approved. Moving on to our second public hearing is regarding the Business Professional Occupational License Ordinance, commonly known as BPOL. This has been discussed in this was discussed, excuse me, in our July meeting and then advertised for change. This is, as you can see from the materials, to strike one sentence from that ordinance regarding the $1,000 fee that has never been enforced. So just bring it consistent with practice. Any board members have comments before we open the public hearing? All right, we'll open the floor for public comment on this. Any emails regarding this change? No, thank you. Anyone in attendance have any comments? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have comments or a motion from the board? Thank you. A motion to approve. All those in favor, respond sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you all. And final public hearing, moving into the American Rescue Plan Act, commonly known as ARPA. As I think most people know, anytime there's a change of over 1% to our budget, we do have to have a public hearing. The receipt from the federal government of $2,553,262 is a change of approximately 6.5% increase in our budget. At this point, those funds have not been expended. You may remember from prior meetings, Mr. Wyatt and I were reappointed to serve on the ARPA committee, along with Ms. Steele and Ms. Cave, similar to the way we handled the CARES funds. But we do need to have the public hearing regarding this. Any comments or questions from the board before we open the public hearing? All right, public hearing is now open. If anyone has any comments, please come forward. And I'll ask again, do we have any email comments regarding this one? All right, thank you. All right, seeing no one for public comment, we'll close the public hearing. Any board members have final comments or a motion?
Mr. Chairman, we're going to approve the resolution that's in the board book, right?
Thank you. Motion to approve as written.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any final comments? All those in favor, respond to sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you again. And we'll move to a special event permit for the Amelia truck pull.
Okay, so this is an event you all are very familiar with. We get this request a couple times a year, every year. So Ace Promotions has applied for a special event permit to hold the Amelia truck pull this Saturday, all day, and then the event will be at 3 p.m. All of their usual things. They will have Johns on site, hand washing stations, EMS, all the things they normally have. Yeah, if you have any questions.
Any questions from the board?
It's an annual event, Mr. Chairman. I move the approval of that.
Thank you, sir. We've got a motion to approve the permit. Any final comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Yes. Very close.
Agree. Agree. Ideally, I think we need to permit really before it starts getting advertised and money being taken for an event. Yeah. Thank you. Great comment. We do have a motion on the table then. All those in favor, respond to sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, and we'll move to the next special event permit.
Okay, Ace Promotions has also applied for their special event permit for the Amelia Fright Fest Haunted Trail. This will be held on Fridays and Saturdays and one Thursday. So looking at all the dates he has here, it starts September 25th and then is every weekend in October. The event will go 3 p.m. to midnight and be held at Tom Scott Park.
Thank you.
And they're providing all of their own sanitation and all those kind of things.
Thank you. And I probably should have commented following some of our recent permits, there's no request for EMS or fire department to be on standby, is my understanding from, doesn't say that in the permits. And both do comment that they're engaging the sheriff's office, and the sheriff confirmed for us recently about how the sheriff's office is paid back for those hours. So there should be no cost to the county. Any comments or questions from the board or a motion? Thank you. We've got a motion to approve. Any final comments or questions on the motion? All those in favor respond to sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. And next up, we've got a supplemental appropriation from the Sheriff's Department for $35,616. And these were for parts ordered in the prior fiscal year that were not available at that time. If I'm sure I'm reading this right. Any comments or questions regarding this? We have a motion to approve. Thank you. All those in favor of approval respond to sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Continuing to move along, we've got the reassessment recommendation. As you probably remember from prior meetings, the property values are far enough out of alignment based on recent sales from our assessments that we are required by the state to do a reassessment ahead of schedule. The county administration, along with Commissioner of Revenue, did submit RFP for assessors, and they have gone through the RFP results and are ready for us to move forward. Do you have anything you want to speak to on this one, Mr. Harvey?
I can run through it real quickly. The first 2 pages under this tab is titled Modified Proposal for the 2023 General Reassessment of Real Property. This was offered by Wamp or Eanes as a way to get their numbers down, but it did not include a physical inspection. It was basically a drive-by. But we did include that. That came as a result of the in-person interview that we did. So the commissioner's office and administration met twice, parsing through the responses that we had gotten. Then we set up 2 interviews with the 2 firms for competitive negotiations. We brought Pearson came in first. He was on site, he and Randy Willis. The following week, we had Wampler Eanes. Mr. Wampler and his wife were, they did virtually. I don't think there was any advantage going one way or the other. The communications were well. I think everybody came across and were able to make their points, hit the high spots. Each of them had a chance to adjust their value, their cost near the end. And as you can see, we've got an evaluation from the Commissioner's Office, an evaluation from mine. I'll only speak to what I've got. It comes down to, in my opinion, both companies can do the job. There are actually 4 across the state, or maybe a few more that are doing these. These companies are both in good standing across the state. Obviously, when you run a business with 30 or more people, you're going to have strong employees and you're going to have weak, and every now and then you have things happen, and they're cured for all of these. But what it came down to me was you had one was offered to do the entire project for $170,880. They were the existing company, and it was just clear that they had the data, they had the people in place. It was just to continue with the process, and they had no real startup costs, didn't have to mobilize new people to come in. And the other company was $87,000 higher. They were going to have to bring staff in, which they could do. And there is a benefit to having them. It's another set of eyes, and every now and then it's not a bad thing, I think, to switch up. It just, in my opinion, it didn't rise to the level of the difference in the cost. The administration's recommendation was to award the contract to the lowest bidder, which I also thought was the best, and that's Pearson. And
Thank you.
the last page in there is the recommendation from the commissioner.
Thank you. And I don't see the Commissioner of Revenue in person, but as you said, she does have a page in here with the recommendation from herself and the real estate deputy for her office, and they are recommending Wampler Eames. I think you stated it similar to hers, there's a difference in approach and whether we want something new or not there. So we do have a recommendation from administration to move forward with Pearson, and a recommendation from Commissioner of Revenue for Wampler Eames. Any comments or questions from the board? Is not, she's not online. She's provided some emails to us before, but I'm not sure if it went to the whole board. I can't remember. With her expressing some pretty significant concerns with the current appraisal firm over the last few years. We also, of course, are in the situation based on the current assessments, and she does have a belief that more thorough assessments, which may cost more at the beginning, will lead to more accurate assessments. I don't want to speak for her, but I believe that's what I've seen from her emails.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to recommend we accept the Commissioner of Revenue's recommendation and go with the company that will put eyes on every property, take pictures, take measurements, and find properties that need to be taxed and aren't currently being taxed. I think the $87,000 will be more than recovered in the next 6 years that we wait for the next reassessment. I think it'll be recovered more than once.
So to recap, that is a motion to move forward with Commissioner of Revenue's recommendation for Wampler Eames.
Yes, sir.
Any comments or questions on the motion?
There were 2 options for basically a tabletop reassessment versus a full reassessment. full reassessment. Now the question is it drive-by inspections or is it physical inspections of the
Yeah, both the
property?
drive-by and the physical count in that one option. In alternative originally was a tabletop one, which would not have done either a drive-by or a physical. So both of these options are within a second. I believe they did not get any responses to the RFP that offered the other option. Tabletop, which was also not recommended by the state. That's a good question for clarity. Any other comments or questions on the motion? All right, with that, we'll call for a vote on the motion. A recap again, that is to proceed with the awarding the RFP to Wampler-Eanes. All those in favor, respond sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion passes and move to the county administrator's report.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Waste Management under tab 13. The host fee was $299,416.33. Also, I think I put it in a board report, or a weekly report, but I'd like everybody to know that there have been a few issues with odors just recently. Not exactly sure what's going on, but Waste Management has some solutions and some things they're trying, or what they would like to try. And we have written a letter to them in support of it, hoping that this will convince the originators of the waste to allow them to do some pre-treatment on their own. This is Waste Management is offering to do it as well as pay for it. Hopefully, we're going to be successful with that attempt, or we'll help them be successful with that attempt. Commonwealth Regional Council has published their items of interest for July of 21. Anybody has anything on there they would like to discuss? Or Mr. Phelps or Mr. Scott, be more than happy to talk about that. The DMV Select, that monthly report is in, and that was $4,325 for the month. And then we move to a supplemental appropriation. This is just the notification of one that was done on August the 5th. That was $6,300 for the Department of Fire programs, in excess of what was originally budgeted. This is grant money. There was $4,200 of state library aid. There was $600 that the Commonwealth's attorney took out of the forfeited asset sharing program for a cell phone. And the last one was $31.99, which was reimbursement the sheriff's office received for a returned office supply. Those appropriations were made, and this is the notice of it. And there's documentation behind that tab as well.
Thank you. Good to see income higher from the state for two of those. Great, than we expected.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for the county administrator? All right, we'll move into open comments from the board members. If there's anything you'd like to add, District 1.
I just want to pass on from the operators of field days of the past. They're pretty excited with the people that's turning out to help volunteer. They still could use more, but things are moving along.
Thank you, District 2.
No comments tonight.
District 3.
Just I'd like to thank Dr. Harper and the schools for their continued hospitality here, as we have limited options. And we can never thank our sheriff's office enough. They tend to get wrapped into situations they don't want anything to do with, but they're always here. They always show up, and we do appreciate that. Also, on that note, I'd just like to mention the National Night Out Sheriff's Office held in the courthouse. It was amazing. It was a huge success. I heard nothing but great things about it throughout the community, and really excited, and I hope they continue to do it every year going out, and I would like to thank the community for coming out and supporting it the way they did.
No additional comments from District 4. District 5?
I don't have anything.
Thank you. Thank you all. Do we have any need for a closed session this evening? Yes, that is correct. I will entertain a motion for a continued meeting to next Wednesday, the 25th at 7 p.m. in the County Administration Conference Room. Thank you. Motion for that continuance. All those in favor respond with the sign of aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you all. Meeting is adjourned to continue next Wednesday.
Sir? Next Wednesday, 7 o'clock.